the Mandalorian Din Djarin versus the legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett. So, who's better? Welcome back to another video, fellas, and today I will share with you my opinion on which one would win in a battle between the two. So without any further delay, let's start the battle. Number 1. Arsenal and Tools. Now, Boba Fett's armor is a bit outdated, and his jetpack rocket needs serious maintenance. Maybe because Cobb Vanth used it too much without trying to clean it or maintain it well. On the other hand, Din Djarin has a well-maintained Mandalorian armor, and his tools, like the Whistling Birds, are incomparable. In addition, he has a disintegrating sniper rifle, a blaster pistol, and of course, a distinctive Beskar helmet which definitely seems in better condition. What also seems to give Din Djarin an edge is one specific item in his arsenal, the Darksaber. It is a key weapon and one that Boba Fett can only counter with Tusken Raider melee gear, which simply is not enough. So I gotta give this point to Din Djarin as he has more powerful and advanced weaponry than Boba Fett. Number 2. Experience and Tactics. Boba Fett and Din Djarin took very different paths to end up in roughly the same place. On one hand, Boba Fett is the son and clone of a feared Mandalorian bounty hunter, Jango Fett. He was raised from mom and one to follow his father's footsteps. While Jango wasn't born a Mandalorian, he was a foundling like Din Djarin and was essentially adopted into the culture. Jango would then pass on down everything he learned to the young Boba. And let's not forget all the impressive bounties that Boba took on himself. Now Din Djarin, sure enough, has taken on impressive opponents and seems like he's very intelligent and good with tactics. However, I think he's still somewhat inexperienced and has still way more to learn, and that's why he sometimes struggles against opponents that you would think he would take on easily. Boba has more years of experience and is a much better tactician than Din, so this point has to go rightly to Boba Fett. Number 3. Fighting Style. Now sure enough, it's hard to deny the experience that Boba Fett brings to the table. He was in the business for decades, going all the way back to the Clone Wars. He's a battle-hardened warrior to say the least. Additionally, living on Tatooine after escaping the Sarlacc pit changed his game dramatically. He adopted a more savage fighting style that improved his existing skills quite well. But after watching Din Djarin in combat, it's hard to imagine that Boba would stand a chance. That is because Djarin's training by his Mandalorian sect was incredibly thorough. Fett was trained by Jango up until his death. For the most part, he was raised by other bounty hunters. Din Djarin's Mandalorian training was complete and much more intensive. His fighting skills, I think, are unparalleled, something Moff Gideon found out firsthand. And so even though Boba Fett is more experienced, Din Djarin is simply a better fighter, and so this point goes to him. Number 4. Strength and melee combat. So here's where it gets interesting. The Mandalorian Din Djarin may in fact possess a superior fighting style, but he relies heavily on his tools and equipment, whereas Boba Fett, thanks to his training and life with the Tuskens, has shown to possess incredible raw strength and melee combat skills, and he's been seen taking down big groups of enemies using only his Tusken stuff and no gadgets. Even though I love Din Djarin, it's hard to say that he could take on Boba Fett if he was stripped of his weapons and tools, so in this case, Boba Fett wins this point. Number 5. Overall. While Boba Fett is a more savvy, experienced fighter, that doesn't change the fact that Din Djarin is just barely the superior warrior. His Beskar armor offers a bit more coverage, and he is also in possession of a better assortment of weapons. On top of that, it's hard to ignore the fact that the Darksaber is an incredible weapon for Djarin to have in his arsenal, one that Boba simply does not have an answer for. It's also worth noting that Din Djarin is younger than Fett. Again, Fett is the more experienced of the two. He knows tricks that Din Djarin has never even heard of, and also it would be nearly impossible for Din Djarin to defeat Boba Fett in melee combat. But in a straight up fight, I believe Din Djarin is more efficient overall, and so he would win the fight. And so this point goes to the Mandalorian Din Djarin, who is also the winner of this battle.
This is the way.
I'd like to note again that this is just my personal opinion, and by no means I believe it is 100% right. So what is your opinion, fellas? Who do you think would win in a battle between Din Djarin and Boba Fett? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to smash like and subscribe if you found this video interesting. Until the next one, have an amazing time and I'll see you all later.
Thank FARRIK.